James, welcome to the show.
Nice one, Brad. Thanks for having me on.
What makes a good striker?
What makes a good striker? Straight into it. Um, I think what makes a good striker, good timing, good reflexes. Um, I think those are two big parts of it. Time and reflexes. Obviously, there's things like what you train and this and that. But if we're looking at like naturally what makes a good striker, I think like good timing, good reflexes, being able to stay calm, like in the kind of whatever in the heat of it all. Um, yeah, I think the reflexes, timing are two of the main things.
Do you think that's like can have you ever seen someone who maybe doesn't have that natural like the
Yeah,
natural timing then be able to develop that, or do you think it's something that is solely like you kind of have it or you don't have it?
no, you can definitely train it, like establishing certain shots that will lead to another. Um, Even guys who are naturally grapplers, you can kind of use your strike or use your grappling to set up your hands, for example, like freezing people with like them thinking you're going to be shooting for takedowns and like dipping and coming back up with the hands. Um, just with your original question, I was kind of thinking maybe wrongly or rightly, like some people naturally they like we'll say Conor McGregor, for example. I would say he's a very natural striker. Like if you're to watch it, it looks very smooth and uh, efficient and effortless. Whereas I think some people who are not naturally strikers, they almost get in their own way, trying to muscle shots and trying to hit harder and things like that. Um, and I feel like if you're more relaxed, um, like you'll have that snap in your punches and that pop. We'll say, like if you use McGregor for an example, another one that comes to mind as like a very natural heavy hitter and striker, obviously. Tommy Hearns, if you ever watch how he like throws his right hand or something, it's so effortless and looks so, yeah, almost loose. Um, and then I think for people who naturally don't have that, a lot of that is coming from maybe starting late because, like any sport, if you start early, you kind of look like a natural at it, if you know what I mean. Um, and if you're starting late, it'll be hard to develop that. So I think it's important for those people that are starting late. Like I think the number one thing you can outside of a drill is sparring and like heavy sparring. I think that's the only way you can get like to that state where you are calm and relaxed in exchanges, and then like it's through that calmness in exchanges when you find the good counter shots or the shots that hurt people. I feel like a lot of it is. Obviously, there's a trade off there. If you're doing a lot of hard sparring, you're looking at CTE down the line. So it's a fine line to trade, we'll say.
Yeah, get good now, but down the road not be able to talk properly, right?
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, as in, but even if you look at guys like James Toney, who just show up to the gym and just spar with everyone 10, 12 rounds, whatever it was. There's other things at play there then as well. Like, as in, apparently he wasn't the biggest fan of training, but enjoyed the fight. But yeah, a lot of those guys are kind of slurring their speech now. So, and as well, you gotta respect your sparring partners. I think it's about sparring heavy with people that you know and trust, because then you're not gonna like kill each other. You can ride the line, we'll say. But if you're sparring with just people you don't know or you don't trust, like that's when it just gets kind of dangerous and stupid, and you're all hurting each other. Whereas if you're kind of a small, tight knit gym, you got to look after each other anyway, because if you break all your ties, who are you going to get better with after that?
Yeah, I think I actually made a video yesterday talking about sparring, and one of the things that I like personally to do is to obviously it's different if you are training specifically for like a fight scenario, but I
Yeah,
like a rule of being able to go harder to the body and below, and then
yeah,
just knocking off a little bit of the power to the head so that you can still get
yeah,
that intensity of the spar whilst also not taking the brain damage.
yeah, yeah. I think that like that's a great way to do it, especially for if you like look at how Thais spar a lot of the time. Um, like they'll kick a little bit harder, but they're just kind of touching to the head, and a lot of the time they won't even be wearing mouth guards, or they'll be just kind of playing with each other, but still the sharpness in it and the quickness in the sparring. Yeah, and I think that goes back to sparring with people you trust. Like that's a great drill as long as it's you're not doing it with someone else and then they just fucking nail you when you're kind of not ready for it. But yeah, things like that, and as well, like just to build off that, like maybe you're doing a round, one person's only on their jab and they got their kicks, or the other person's only allowed to throw their right hand if it's a counter shot, things like this. So yeah, you can do a lot with situational sparring. I feel like they improve certain areas of the game, like or maybe you're trying to work your opposite stance. So you've got everything in your opposite stance. Your partner's only got his jab and his rear kick, or your partner's only got his hands, like little things like that. I feel like are yeah really good tools for it.
I want to bring back to something you was talking a little bit about earlier. Do you ever watch football?
Football, like soccer, we'll say, or yeah, football. I not so much now. I used to when I was younger. I used to play it a bit as well.
Okay, cool. So you was talking about certain strikers that look a little bit more natural, like McGregor, for example. You
Yeah,
watch him and he looks like a very natural striker, right?
yeah,
Do you know? You might know these footballers, you might not. Do you know Eden Hazard and Mohamed Salah?
yeah. Well, I know the names. I know like
Yeah.
Salah.
Okay. So I watched a video a couple of nights ago. Um, pardon?
Sorry, I just lost you there for a second.
Oh, okay. So I was watching a video a couple of nights ago based on the
Yeah,
two footballers, and they were talking about the actual shapes that the players make and how that can actually impact your enjoyment of watching somebody. So
right. Okay.
if you take like quite a jagged striker, someone who's a little bit awkward and a little bit clunky, they might
Yeah,
still be just as efficient, if not more efficient at striking than say a Conor McGregor. But a Conor
yeah,
McGregor is more enjoyable to watch because he makes much more fluid shapes and they're more rounded shapes versus
yeah,
the
yeah,
like this kind of movement. He's very fluid and just flows quite nicely. I find
yeah,
that so fascinating.
yeah. I think like there's something in that because like do you watch much Muay Thai? Like Nong
Not
O with the
not particularly, no.
like there's a fighter in one championship, Nong O, and like his Muay Thai is so beautiful to watch. Like maybe going back to that, someone maybe with stiff hips, they might still like kick you just as hard as Nong O, but it's something about his movements and his little fakes and his kicks. Like it's just so beautiful to watch. Like he's my favorite Thai to watch. Um, and like they have the Thais will kind of classify how people fight. Will say like a Muay Mat is a boxer, or Muay Fimo is like a stylish kind of a all rounder kind of thinking fighter, and Nong O is like a Muay Fimo, will say. But just how he kicks and throws his punches and everything is it's just so beautiful to watch. He's obviously effective with it as well. But yeah, maybe there's something in that. Like, as in, it's almost like the eye knows that looks good. You know what I mean? Whereas if it's someone maybe like Drickus or something, it looks a bit clunky or whatever, um, but it's still just as effective, or can be just as effective. Um, and then I don't know, am I getting sidetracked with this? But there's a lot to be said for unorthodox fighters who just do weird shit and you don't know what's coming. like it can be hard to get a read on that too.
Yeah,
But yeah, I agree with whatever that clip is that you were watching. I think like some people just look like it's easier on the eye to watch.
yeah, definitely. Yeah. And it is a weird one because sometimes I'll spar someone who's like maybe on their even their first or second kickboxing
Yeah,
class, and they're like clocking me with shit
I
because
know.
they're just so like clunky and they're
Yeah,
doing stuff that doesn't work, but it does work because you're not used to seeing that.
yeah. Or you throw a body kick on them, and instead of blocking it, they stick their elbow out, and you land your fucking foot into their elbow, and you break your foot. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, I there's a lot to be said for not having a clue what you're doing, and then by default you're actually good.
Yeah, it's bizarre how that works, and I always get so annoyed when I'm like, I know that I'm better than you, but I don't know how to figure out this puzzle that's in front of me of like weird shit that you're doing.
Yeah, yeah. It's not good for the ego at all, that. And we've all been there, I think.
Yeah. Man. Okay, talk to me about what it's like living in Thailand and working at bangtao.
Right. Well, where to kind of start, we'll say, but what it's like living in Thailand anyway. I came here, like, I'll go back to go forward, we'll say. I came here in 2012, first of all, um, just for like a month's holiday. And in that month, it's probably still, that was even now, like the best, most eye-opening month of my life. Um, from a training point of view, uh, like the Thais will say live and breathe Muay Thai, obviously. So you've got the whole fight sports in the culture. The people are so, like, it's land of smiles or whatever people call Thailand. People are friendly. The cost of living is low. It's a tropical island, like beautiful weather. Obviously there's rainy season as well, but even still beautiful weather, beaches, massages, um, like cheap protein shakes, get like whatever kind of food you want. Um, but I feel like it's very whatever kind of stresses people have in the Western world or things you're bombarded with by the media, you're almost aside from it out here. And it's very stress-free kind of place to live. Um, like for example, if I hung up the pads or the gloves or whatever tomorrow, I would still want to stay here in Thailand, and that's kind of a goal for me moving forward uh, is to like secure my future in Thailand, we'll say, or so that I can retire here and stay here. It's just such a like peaceful way of life, or you can kind of do whatever you want to do as long as you're not interfering with somebody else's well-being or whatever. You can literally do whatever you want to do, and nobody will bat an eyelid. It's very yeah, it's very free kind of feeling of a place like that. Well, so in that month in 2012, it was a really eye-opening month for me, we'll say. And I kind of knew, or maybe didn't know I wanted to live here for the rest of my days kind of then, but it's just such like the pace of life or or whatever out here, you can kind of, as long as you're not negatively affecting somebody else or doing something outrageous, you kind of have a lot of freedom out here to do what you like. And then obviously Muay Thai is a massive part of the culture here. And when I came out in 2012, I was still fighting MMA at the time. Um, and I had applied for the tryouts that Tiger Muay Thai had, but they didn't get back to me. But I flew out anyway, and I spoke to Brian Ebersole and Roger Huerta, and they were saying that it was you could only try out if they had gotten back to you. So I reckon I could have pushed a little bit harder then and actually done the tryouts, but I just was like, yeah, okay, no worries. I'm just going to train Muay Thai for the month. So I trained Muay Thai for that month, fought twice, lost both of those fights, but I was sure Muay Thai was what I wanted to do then. Um, and yeah, what I was saying about Thailand then, I feel like you're free from a lot of the stresses that like we have in the Western world or things that you're bombarded with by the media or whatever. It's just a very laid back kind of lifestyle. And obviously then if you're into combat sports, it's like there's so many options for places to train, and it's become like a hub in, I don't think there's any place like Phuket in the world. So many different MMA gyms or world class fighters, UFC fighters coming through such a small area. So if MMA is your thing and or Muay Thai, and you're not happy with how the life is in the Western world, I think Thailand is the place for you.
I think one of the more interesting things is how the weather impacts. It's really obvious that the weather in Thailand is so much nicer, right? And everyone talks about it. But what I don't think is spoken about enough is actually how the weather can impact your mental state. Like, so today we're actually quite lucky in England where it's a lovely sunny day,
Yeah,
and I'm in my shorts and my t-shirt, and I feel really like I just generally feel like my base level of happiness is a little bit higher today because when
yeah,
I look
yeah,
outside, the sun is shining. And
yeah,
when I was in Thailand, for me, that was one of the real simple things of I opened the door and it was really nice weather, and immediately I'm off to a good start with my day.
yeah,
And there's probably some science that backs up that like I don't know, maybe it releases some kind of endorphins or whatever.
yeah, yeah.
But I think that's such an underrated thing that's maybe not spoken about.
Yeah, I think 100%. Even I remember the last time I fought was like 3 years ago, whatever. But I was training at Sing Patong in Patong, and every day after training, there's like a little hill to walk up out of the gym. And you're just looking down over Patong Beach, and sunset kind of that time, and it's like just so calming and yeah, beautiful. Whereas in Ireland, don't get me wrong, I love Ireland too, but it's a lot of grey skies and kind of cold weather. Um, but yeah, the literal visuals of where you are here are huge. Like I'm 200 or 300 meters from the beach, sun is shining. Like it's very hard to, like, as in I need to remind myself sometimes to be grateful for where I am. You know what I mean? Um, yeah, it's like it's paradise kind of the weather and just the how do you even say it? Not the geography, but just like palm trees, beaches. Um, yeah, it's just a beautiful place to live.
Yeah, I spoke to a guy called Adam Lusby, who's like a strength and conditioning coach. I don't know if you've heard of him.
Not sure.
He does some S&C. I think he did Paul Craig's S&C when he was
Oh,
fighting. And he's involved with a few UFC guys and just general like professional fighters. And
yeah,
I asked him a question based on we was talking about like the benefits of actually taking care of yourself. And then we got into a really interesting debate actually about the weather, which is quite funny that like that's kind of why I sort of brought that up again because he was talking about how like it's almost easier to want to take care of yourself or be able to take care of yourself when say you've got a run to go on or you want to go to the gym but you open your door and it's pissing it down with rain immediately it's kind of like a little barrier to
yeah,
to going in and doing that thing. Whereas if it's nice outside, it's actually enjoyable to walk to the gym or to get outside and go in your car to go down to the gym or to go for a run. And it's
yeah,
such a small little barrier, but actually has such a like profound impact on your ability to mentally be able to go and do that thing.
yeah, yeah. I'd
Right.
agree with you 100%. Whereas, yeah, if it's pissing down rain outside, you can just whatever. I'm gonna turn on Netflix and not do fuck all. But there's definitely something in that. The weather's nice, as well as that. I do feel like it helps with injuries and things like that as well. You're warm, the blood is kind of pumping a lot easier. Um, and yeah, it's I just feel like it's a lot easier to recover out here too. That and that like you can get it's like cheap to get whatever kind of food you want really. Um, and like you can get good massages anywhere as well. Yeah, you just have it all at your doorstep, and it's like nothing's too far away too. Like when I was back home, whatever, you'd have to drive 30, 40 minutes to the gym. Obviously, people have longer commutes than me, but I'm just around the corner from the gym. But anytime I was anywhere like training in Thailand, I was always very close to the gym or a bike ride away from the gym. Speaking of like mental health and things like that, that's another thing. Just cruising around here by the coast or by the beach on your scooter. Um, yeah, it's very easy to stay in a good frame of mind.
What's something that you feel stops people? Maybe I don't know. It sounds like to some people it'd be a crazy thing to like. I don't know. You've probably even had this in your own life where you're like, oh, I'm going to move away from Ireland and I'm going to go and live in Thailand, and people are like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, what's
Yeah,
something that you feel stops people pushing themselves to actually go? No, I'm going to go and do this.
um, I I don't know that like for me, I wouldn't say it was a no brainer, but um, like yeah, I don't know what it's kind of maybe comfort in what you have. Like that was one thing. So I was in the Irish Army and I used
Mm.
to ride horses for the army. Is what I used to do, like show jumping horses, and they kind of gave me an ultimatum between choosing MMA, which I was doing at the time, or focus on the horses. But I didn't think one was taken away from the other. I can see it from their perspective now because it was pre Conor McGregor time, so it was like cage fighting or whatever, and it didn't look what they wanted to like us to be associated with. But um, so I made my choice already. But then I was in the regular army, we'll say, and it was comfortable job. But I was just kind of sat in a transport yard, like signing in and out trucks and things like that, and all that was keeping me was the comfort of that like paycheck. And I think I don't know, like there is that is a massive factor. If you're a like a young fella and you want to be a UFC fighter or something, and you want to come and live out here, you you have to go all in because like you might be sacrificing that comfort paycheck, we'll say. And then I've been on the receiving end of this too. When it doesn't work out and then you have to go back home and do some bullshit jobs that you don't really want to do, like it is something that you have to be comfortable with being an eventuality of kind of just going and doing what you want to do. Um, but like I'm glad I did, and there was I've been through it that I've gone home, my tail between my legs, and I had to do whatever I had to do, and then like got my way back out here. I almost feel like there was lessons as well in that. It wasn't like I gave 100% and then I failed or whatever. I was kind of fucking around a little bit or not all in, and I paid the price for it, so to speak. Um, and I also do feel like lucky that kind of things worked out. But um, for me, I wouldn't have been happy just doing some like regular shit that I wasn't really into. Um, and if fighting is your thing or Thailand is your thing, like you've got not really got much to lose by going for it because if you don't, you'll have those like, oh, what ifs, I could have, should have, would have. At least if you see it through and you either come out the other end, you fucking whatever, you won the fucking Lumpini belt or whatever it is. Or else even if you come out the other end, at least you'll know and then you'll be at peace with it and you can move on with the next thing. Or I feel like anyway, if you give 100% at something and you do good things with other people, something good will come of it. Come of it. Like it's not and it mightn't be what you think it is, but it'll lead you to the right place. Whereas if you're not happy with what you're doing and you're just going to stick doing that, like life will just kind of pass you by. And that sounds like the even more daunting than giving it a go. So yeah, I think comfort is what maybe stops people. Comfort and maybe fear of getting out of, yeah, that's comfort as well. It's probably the main reason I'd say. Obviously, there's financial issues. Like, it's not cheap to just up sticks and come out to Thailand either. Um, But yeah, where there's a will, there's a way, I suppose.
Yeah, I think it's a weird one where people would actually sometimes rather just sit in the like just bleh existence that they've currently got
Yeah. Well, I think
instead
that,
of
oh, sorry, go on.
no no go go.
I was just thinking, like, from s a lot of my friends that I grew up with, like, they're married and have kids and this and that. And I think that's a whole other, like, I think for a lot of people, when they have kids, the kids become their, like, their everything. And I get that. And I really respect that. Um, so, like, I get it if you're married and you have kids or whatever, you've now got more responsibilities than just yourself. But if you're young and you're single and um yeah, you've got no kids, I think, like, yeah, why not? You're only young once. So you may as well
Yeah,
try do whatever it is that you dreamt of doing.
yeah,
Um
100.
and I think as well, a lot of people, what might hold people back as well is they kind of put like UFC fighters or elite athletes on a pedestal. And there's one thing that kind of dawned on me, whatever I was at Baku, with Nicholas Mota, and then in Singapore with Kai. And like there's not a whole lot different between those guys in the UFC. And like, just your people in the gym will say, like, Kiefer fought on UFC in Shanghai, and he is like a testament to where you can go with like work ethic and belief in yourself. Like, obviously there's small percentages of like who's elite or whatever, but like it's not that, like, I was kind of thinking it's not that mad of a dream to go be a UFC fighter. Sure, the numbers are against you, but there's not a whole lot different if you like between you and them. You know what I mean? Um, Obviously, a lot of things come into it. Like, there's luck of the draw, there's connections, there's this and that. But like, I know guys that I used to train with in like when I was coming up in SPG and that, and maybe they didn't seem like the most talented in the gym then, but now they're up there. You know what I mean? Not just in the UFC as well. Like, you've got like Richie Smullen, for example, absolute killer. Um, yeah, like a lot of guys from a small gym did a lot of good things from there.
Yeah, I don't think there's as much it's like anything, right? So for me with my podcast and my content, there's
Mm,
not as much of a distance in terms of like how much better or how much further away the top of the top are. It's
yeah,
actually like they're closer than you think. It's just
yeah,
a fucking maze to get there in terms of trying to figure out all of the little intricacies. Like
yeah, yeah,
they're, they're not untouchable. You can get there. You just have to be smart enough to make the right connections, have the fucking grit and determination to just show up every day. Most people don't even have that. Like
yeah,
if you show up every single day, there is literally no way you will not get better at something. Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
Like
yeah,
it's a really
100%.
simple equation. It is such a simple equation. Show the fuck up every single day. Do a little bit of extra work outside of class or outside of I don't know the usual times that you do stuff. Put a little bit extra in, and
Yeah,
all of a sudden you're going to see those guys who you did put on a pedestal and be like, actually, like I can be up there as well. Like it's actually not that much of a leap. I
yeah,
just need to be smart and consistent.
yeah. I think it's like it's other variables that you might not even think about are like, it's not like, oh, I'll never be good enough. No, you can. It's some other variable that will decide whether you got there or you didn't. And that comes down to, I don't know, all sorts of things, but like luck plays a part in it. But just maybe meeting the right person at the right time that's connected to this person or whatever. But if you just keep showing up day in, day out, like you said, you're going to get better. And these guys aren't that much fucking different than you at all.
So obviously, being at Bangtao, you've had the chance to work with some like unbelievable high level guys.
Yeah.
What is something that you have picked up from those guys whether it's like a really small thing that they do or something. I don't know, it might be quite a drastic thing, but I often find it tends to be just small little like mentalities that they have or little things that they do. What's something that you've picked up from those guys?
Um, well, if you're talking about like guys that like Khalil coming through, or we'll say just on that, I don't know if I'm kind of getting off point, but they're all like they're all very different in um like all very individual characters. Like there's not I can't think of something that I can see is uh like in each of them, if that makes sense. So there's been guys like Anderson Silva have come through, Ricky Hatton, Khalil, uh, John Jones, Charles Oliveira, um, Izzy Azadenia. So from those guys, like for example, I'm training with Izzy on my profile, and I have with Khalil, but I've kind of just held pads for them, like as in just more like a media day type of thing, we'll say, and Ricky Hatton as well. So I didn't pick their brains so much, but um, when Drickus was here, I worked with him for about a week, like maybe 4 or 5 sessions with him on the pads, um, and well, him, Izzy, Ricky Hatton, like very Khalil as well, like very kind of humble, kind of down to earth guys. And okay, some of them yes, some of them no, would like talk it up for, or they're like a personality as well in the like promoting fights or whatever. Um, but the they're obviously all very passionate about what they're doing. And Khalil did a very good seminar. Izzy did a very good seminar as well. And I think like maybe okay, you obviously know this, but like maybe like in for a layman watching the sport, like they're very intelligent guys. Like in that in the seminars there was a lot of talk about fakes, positioning. Like it's not like there's a lot more thinking going on, or like setups. And yeah, I have something that they I can't really say there's one distinct thing that they all have in common. Um, but just kind of going back to what we were talking about earlier, I think they're just they're normal, same as like me and you are. They're just very dedicated to their craft. Um, and yeah, actually, one thing with Drake is he was very humble when I was holding pads for him. We'll say, or MVP as well. Like they're students of the game, so to speak. Um, whether I thought I had something to give them or not, like just very, yeah, very down to earth, very eager to learn. Still later in their careers, um, and I feel like MMA as well has made. There's been a few evolutions in the last few years. Everyone started calf kicking. Everyone started doing these Japanese kind of stabbing kicks, and everyone's switch hitter now. And I think it's just staying on top of like those evolutions, like keeps them like yeah, you can't get left behind at it. Like gone are the days of one of the Gracies versus Sakuraba or something. We'll say it's like yeah, you got to be always learning. Um, but yeah, I don't even know if I've answered your question.
No, man, yeah, it's great. Like that's something which I think I was talking to. Do you know a coach called Danny Batten?
Danny Batten, where does he coach?
He's from the UK. He's the head coach at BST.
Right, okay. I'm not
Um,
familiar with it, sorry.
yeah, but he's Jordan Vucenic. He's been to Bangtao, I think.
Yeah.
So he's Jordan's coach.
Right, okay.
Um, and we were talking about the little like intricacies that someone who just watches the sport and has maybe never trained
Mhm.
would have no clue are going on when they're just watching the fight. But the
Yeah,
two fighters in there are so aware of those little things. And when you're watching two fighters, maybe they're not throwing and they're just they're moving around. To someone
yeah,
who hasn't trained the sport or has never competed or doesn't have like a slightly more in-depth knowledge, they wouldn't have a clue what's going on. But those two fighters, they're having a fight without fighting each other in that moment
Yeah,
because
yeah,
they're just
exactly. That's
trying
a
to
great
work
way to put it.
the little angles and the little. If I put my foot here, that means that you have to slightly move or adjust your angle a little bit. And that
Yeah,
to me is something that's so fascinating when I watch the fights. Sometimes I can almost get enjoyment out of watching a fight where they're not
yeah.
even throwing at each other because I'm just
Yeah.
watching the little movements that they're making.
But even when Izzy did his seminar and his coach Eugene Behrman from City Kickboxing, he was talking about like they're talking about feints, and he was saying there's a direct correlation with like let's say you get into outside the top 10 and then in the top 10, it's like for every strike that's thrown, the guys at the higher end of the rankings, like there's like 9 feints for every strike, and then there's a direct correlation that as you go down the roster, maybe there's like 2, 3 feints per strike. So there's like a lot of downloading information going on, see what reads you get or reactions and that. Um. So there's a lot to be said for that fight that's doesn't look like a fight at all. It's what you're talking about.
Yeah, I think you can also actually see it play out in when you watch, say, you watch two people having their first amateur fights against each other. A lot of
Yeah,
the time, it just looks like a like brawly kind of mess where they're just
yeah,
going at each other the whole time. And then when
yeah,
you watch, like, I don't know, if you watch Adesanya versus Pereira, for example,
yeah,
probably the highest level striking match we will ever see in the UFC. Maybe we'll
yeah,
see it. That's probably the highest level one we've had of the recent era. And they're not throwing as much at each other, and they're spending a lot of time actually moving and trying to figure each other out. So when you watch
yeah,
like the the debut versus debut amateur fighters, where they're just fucking going hammer and tongs versus that, it's you can actually see that playing out in real time.
yeah.
I just find that quite fascinating. But
Yeah. It's quite a evolution from two debutants. Yeah, like you said, it's like a street fight a lot of the time. But yeah, it's it's like such how to say like yeah, because one mistake, or if you just with a guy like that, if you just lunge forward at him like Israel, then he's going to pull counter or something like that, or you're just going to walk straight into Pereira's left hook, and that's the end of it.
yeah,
So yeah.
yeah. Okay, so for yourself, what is like the next sort of 6, 12 months that you're looking, what are you wanting to achieve in the next 6, 12 months? Is it continuing to do what you're
Yeah.
doing at the moment? Yeah,
So
talk to
maybe next 6 months, who we got? So Keitian is fighting in at the end of May in Hex. Then we just got Oscar confirmed another fight. And then there's Jeb, the African Spartan. Hopefully, we'll have something confirmed for him soon. So that's kind of what my focus is for now. Like just getting the lads their fights, and just kind of watching them progress through their careers and hopefully helping them as much as I can. Um, I think that's been a like a kind of great driving force for me in the last few months. We'll say I've found like purpose in that. So I'm really excited for Akitian. He had fight of the year last year in Eternal, and his first fight back now. He's got a tough opponent. So yeah, looking forward to seeing him get one back in the win column and seeing where that takes him. Then we've got Jabe. Hopefully we're getting him. I can't say like what it is, but hopefully he's got something nice coming up. And then Oscar, his second pro fight. So yeah, I just what the next 6 months is. I guess just take it as it comes with the guys off the team. Um, and yeah, it's like just focusing on what what they're doing. Like you were talking about, there's a lot of guys coming through from UFC and this and that in bangtao, but that's what I'm happy kind of just kind of working with the lads and seeing how I can help them out. And yeah, my dad is coming out next month as well, so just spend some time with him. Um, so that'll bring us up to what, October, November.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, just keep doing my thing, training myself, training people, doing PTs, and yeah, seeing what happens with the team.
It's funny, like I ask a coach about what the next 6 months looks like for them, and they always talk about their fighters. It's quite a selfless role being a coach, isn't it?
uh, maybe, but like as in the lads have they do a lot for me as well. It's not a one way street, and maybe the
Mm.
same like I see it the way they see it and this and that. Like as in I'm just happy doing that. Like as in I don't know where that when that happened. Um but I think when I kind of stopped fighting, there was like some sort of a void, and this is a way of staying in it, and it's also kind of giving me like purpose in what I'm doing. So yeah, I'm just excited for the year ahead for them, and hopefully all going well, we can build off it. And yeah, it's I never like set out to be a coach, we'll say, but like now I'm in the past couple of years since I uh, joined Bangtao, like I'm so grateful to the lads for taking me on boards, and yeah, it's given me like purpose again, because we'll say before I started in Bangtao, I was still working with some fighters here and there, but mostly just people doing a little bit of training kind of down in Rawai. Which, don't get me wrong, a lot of those people that like I end up working with, they become good friends, and that's how they become like regulars, we'll say. I think that the actual coaching is a smaller part of it than you think for why people come back to you. Um, and now it's like a bonus that I get to work with these fighters, and like yeah, it's almost like an honor, we'll say, that they put that trust in me to come corner them for a fight or train them for a fight, or oh coach, can you look at this guy? I love it. I don't think like I'd do anything else if all going well, we'll say, or let's say I didn't have to, I would still do this, if that makes sense.
Mm.
So yeah, I'm excited for the next 6 months for the team.
Nice one, man. So thanks for coming on the show, James. Is there anything you want to promote whilst you're on it?
Is there anything which, sorry?
Is there anything you want to promote or shout out whilst you're on here?
I just want to give a shout out to Bangtao MMA in Phuket. If you want to get some training with me or one of the other lads, we got so many good coaches there, such a good team. Yeah, if you come to Phuket, hit us up and let's get some training. Thanks for having me on, Brad. Appreciate it.